Hello and welcome to the show. And today's guest is so very special to me. She's a visionary, a disruptor, and the architect behind Inkwell Beach. Adrianne C. Smith has redefined what inclusion looks like on the world stage. And today we go beyond the buzzwords and into the blueprint. Welcome to the show, Adrianne.
It's always an honor to see you and be in company with you. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, especially right off the heels of Inkwell Beach in Cannes. I had so much FOMO about it, but I want you to tell us what was it like for this past week being in the south of France, communing with our community, making sure that you were making a global stamp on the world.
Well, this year in particular was a very important year for us to be on the ground at the Cannes Lions Festival because this is year number 5 for CCDC's, the Can Diversity Collective's Inkwell Beach, to be on the ground. And not only was it year 5, but just think about the year that we are in right now. There's so much uncertainty as it relates to so many different issues. It was important, it was imperative, it was necessary that Inkwell Beach and the Can Diversity Collective, with our ambassadors, with our volunteers, with our brands and sponsors, we needed to be on the ground just to show that this is not a fight that is easily going to go away. Like, we're going to keep being 10 toes down. We're going to keep being committed to this movement of inclusion, this movement of diversity and equity, this movement of DEI. Because for us, it's not a bad word. It is something that means helping others who need help. It means staying connected with the human being, and it's the human connection business. So it was important for us to be on the ground, and it was just sensational to be there.
Congratulations on pulling off another spectacular week. Again, if you guys have not seen the photos, if you have not been following her on social media, please do so because the photos don't even do it justice. I did not attend this year. I attended last year. So I was imagining myself in those pictures because it truly is incredible. And for you, Inkwell Beach has become more than a physical space, right? It's now a global movement, redefining what true inclusion looks like at the highest levels of creativity and influence. So, looking back on Cannes 2025, what do you believe Inkwell Beach ultimately proved about the power of purpose driven presence on a world stage?
It means that people believe in it. People believe in the spirit and mission of inclusion. People believe in being able to stay connected and identifying with each other on like that basic level of what do we have in common? Can we move this creative work forward? It just showed that people are beyond the politics. They're beyond like everything that's sort of planting these negative seeds, but what's important is the work,
Yeah.
great creative work, knowing that you can't have great creative work if you're working in a silo. You have to be inclusive. You have to find diverse voices to bring the best creative work forward. So, if nothing else, it shows that people believe in that power. They believe in the power of inclusion, and they want to be there. So, everyone, in my favorite saying, everyone showed up and showed out this year.
Yes, and they deserve to be there. Showed up and showed out. I love that. And for those of us who are watching from afar and suffering from major FOMO, paint the picture for us, if you will. What did it feel like to be at Inkwell Beach this year? The energy, people, the moments that made Cannes 2025 unforgettable.
That's always a difficult question for me as the founder of the Can Diversity Collectives Inkwell Beach, because I'm in it from a different lens. I'm in it from how can I make this experience great for everyone that comes? How can we make this experience inclusive? What do we need to do? Why is that paper on the ground? Why are there empty glasses on the bar? Why is that chair crooked? So I'm in a different frame of mind. But from what I hear and I watch, it's almost like I'm not there. I'm just so ingrained in it that I'm physically there, but I'm just mentally and emotionally somewhere else in this haze of the production of it has to be done right. But as I'm watching from social media, like you're watching from social media, it seems like people really felt like the Inkwell Beach Can space was an authentic space. It was a space where everybody felt welcome, where people felt like this was their home base to come meet, greet, do business, make deals happen, get some great food, and then go back into those mean can streets and other activations to learn and get information. So it seemed like the space kind of did like this, ebbed and flowed of like people gathering in, people going back out. And it was always a different crew of people, always a different energy of folks. The content on the stage was amazing. AI is always a big talk, and everybody's like, I'm sick of AI, but you can't be sick of AI, right? For us in our community, we've got to be critically engaged and involved. We've got to, participate in the prompting. We've got to participate in the development of it. So whether it was from technology to being inclusive, having inclusive workspaces, having some type of financial conversation of how are we building wealth, how are we supporting our media companies, all of those conversations were happening at Inkwell with people that looked like us, with people who were subject matter experts in all the fields. So it was just an amazing thing. And the
Um,
people, there were people from everywhere. We had like HBCU plus students that were there we made them like, get engaged and volunteer. So they were meeting and greeting people who were coming in. We had athletes there, we had celebrities come. So it was just an incredible high energy. That's another word, high energy space to be in.
I love it. I love watching it. I love participating in it for the first time last year. And I love that you continue to stand 10 toes down on
Yeah,
ensuring that you not only show up, but what you say, you show out and you elevate.
yeah.
Whenever someone is in the room or in the same space with you, you're elevating. And
Oh
so
my
that is definitely one thing that I appreciate about you. Another thing that I appreciate about you is that this DEI quote unquote fight for you is not a fight. Like it is something that you are going to push for until the end, right? And so you've powerfully said that inclusion is not optional. It's not an option, right? Especially at a time when DEI is being questioned and
right.
are deprioritized. How does Inkwell Beach embody that mindset in action? And what's your message to brands still treating inclusion as a checkbox instead of a catalyst?
Well, the fundamental problem is people don't understand what diversity, equity, and inclusion really means. People don't understand who it actually benefits from. And so I think what's going to be important for corporations or groups who believe in this movement and mission is to define what it means for your organization. Define what it means for the culture and community that you are engaged with. We know that it means something different all over the world because some people see the need to lead with the D for diversity, some lead with the E for equity, some lead with the I for inclusion. As a matter of fact, most of the world leads with the I for inclusion because they want to be able to make sure that all voices are actually heard. It's really like the underpinning of everything. If once you're more inclusive, everything comes after that, right? So I think to answer the question, for us, it's living that life, right? We often say, don't talk about it, be about it. So we're trying just to do it, right? We it was difficult this year fundraising, but people came through because they believe in the mission, they believe in what we set out to do, and they know what they feel when they get there. They know what they feel when they come to Inkwell, how they feel welcomed, how they feel like their voices are heard, and they can have a trusted ear, a trusted voice, and get some advice within that space. So it's about the authenticity of what inclusion actually brings. And as long as we can keep that authentic voice and people can stay committed to what we're creating, what we're building, or what we have built, then I think, we'll be here for the next 10 years, the next 20 years.
Love it. And you just mentioned about fundraising. Despite some of those late stage sponsor dropouts,
Yeah.
still triumph, you still persevere, you still accomplished, right?
Listen, you see this hat? It's a battle hat. It's tattered and torn. It was intentional, right? They have the camouflage out in when you're in a battle. It was difficult, but we had people um, come in, and we had personal donations that were made to us, which were incredible, because 100% of the people who work for the Can Diversity Collective's Inkwell Beach sort of group, because everyone is a volunteer, every single dime that we raise, including me, I'm a volunteer, we all have our day jobs, it goes to the production, it goes to the building and creating the space and place for everyone to belong. So that's why it was just so powerful that people were pulling out of their own personal pockets, their own individual coffers to help support Inkwell. But it was definitely difficult. I felt really odd actually putting a link in some of the groups to say, hey, please donate. It was almost like our hand was out, but they often say a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And if we're not telling the truth about what our situation is, then how would people know, right? Another little saying is, you don't look like what you've been through, but yeah, we've been through a lot. That's why this hat is a little ragged and torn, but we're there. And I think it speaks volumes actually to the folks that were committed to making sure that we got there. It looked beautiful. I only knew what the background story was and what may have been missing, what wasn't there. But for people who came, the energy was there, right? They loved the view of the Mediterranean Sea. They loved, the ebb and flow of people coming in, and we mixed it up. We had dinners. We had TikTok come and, host a party there. We had our Aya Inclusion Awards. So the basic elements of what we normally provide, whether it's entertainment, thought leadership, and just that ability to connect with people on a one-on-one level was there.
And let's talk a bit more about the Aya Inclusion Awards, right? So Aya translates into leadership, resilience, and endurance. Let's
Yes.
talk about the 2025 awardees and how they push the boundaries of authenticity.
Well, let me tell you, the team from Droga 5 won the Gold Aya Award this year, and it was just a beautiful campaign. We'll make sure that we send you the link, but they captured everything that we say we want when we want to create the Aya Inclusion Award, which was making sure the storytelling had an inclusive foundation. The people who worked on the campaign were, diverse, had different backgrounds to be able to storytell in a again, authentic way. So we were very proud to share with them or give them the Golden Aya. And we'll make sure that you guys have the link so you could see some of the awards that some of the other awards that were given out that night as well.
Yeah, yeah. And then I also wanted to touch just a bit on some of the programming that you guys had, right? So some of the things range from AI and health to disruption and next gen empowerment. To you, in your opinion, which session felt the most transformative and why?
That's like a trick question. Like, how could you tell me to say,
You
well, this,
got all these babies, right?
so, I'm going to take the easy route. They all were fantastic.
Babies are beautiful. I love all my babies the same.
Yes. But you know what? I think the foundation of the Can Diversity Collective was built on bringing young people to the festival, bringing that next generation of talent. So on Friday we had a couple of sessions that highlighted our ambassadors and for them to be able to story tell about their experience, as well as some of our alumni ambassadors that were storytelling about what this experience had done for them. And for me, as a firm believer in succession planning, that was the important part, to hear the young voices tell about the experience, express what they were hoping for, the next generation of them and the future of Inkwell and the future of what happens in the world of creativity. That was most important for me. And, they really gave like their take on their experience and other panels that they had heard throughout the week, which were all incredible. So when all the videos drop, we'll make sure that we let you guys know. But it was just amazing. And I think that's for me the most important part, is to see the young people take the stage, tell
Mhm.
their story with confidence, and just for them have that aha moment of, I too have a place in space and I belong on a stage at the Cannes Lions Festival.
It's important. And as always, representation matters. So thank you for showing them how they can show up on a global stage, right? And so you also mentioned just briefly about the sponsorships dropping out, right? So alumni are stepping into the leadership roles and returning as those sponsors, like you mentioned. Do you have one story that you can share that stands out to you that captures the ripple effect that CCDC is creating?
There's several stories, and some of them very unexpected stories. And a lot of those ripple effects from people who don't look like us,
Mhm.
but they value the space and they benefit from it. And it touches them in such a sincere way, which says the power of inclusion, which is the foundation of what we do, is just that magical thing. Because what I thought I was creating to provide a safe space for me and people who look like me is providing a safe space for other people as well. And that's the true testament of something that is big. And it tells me it's bigger than me. This movement of inclusion is bigger than one particular group, but everyone seems to benefit from it. So for a young man to tell me that I actually met at another conference that I said, you should come to the Cannes Lions Festival and you should use it as a way to like elevate your own way of thinking and elevate what you want to do. And so he came back to the beach on Friday, and I believe he was a little choked up. And he said, Adrianne, thank you so much for encouraging me to come because this has changed my life. It has opened up opportunities for me that I just had never thought about. I had a vision for, but you were the angel that encouraged me to do it. And I'm so grateful for you. And he said, and Inkwell feels like home to me. And I saw him taking selfies with people. Like, I saw some posts and I was like, wow, that's different. But it just speaks volumes to when the nature of who we are as people and how open we are and how welcoming we are, that no matter what, this space is a safe space for everyone to come in. Young people from Asia that were saying, thank you for creating the space. It's good for us. We feel like we belong. It's a safe space. I mean, it's a global community where all of us can feel welcome and all of us can like knowledge share, exchange ideas, talk about what we could do just to build the next hot thing. It's just incredible.
And it has to feel good, right? I mean, when you get back home and you kick your shoes off and you just kind of sit down and just woosah, what do you say to yourself? Do you say, I did that, another one and another one? Like how do you kind of feel that for yourself that I really am that girl? Like,
I wish I don't even think like that, which is kind of weird. And I probably should. Sometimes I'm like, let me tell you about what I get. But I think I shared that story with you about it. This work is a part of my DNA,
yeah.
right? And it feels like it's just an everyday thing that I'm supposed to do. Like I'm supposed to wake up and I'm supposed to make that happen. As a matter of fact, I might be behind because I'm missing another global city that we need to be thinking about and we need to be building and creating space because there's so much more work to be done. I'm thinking like that, right? So every once in a while, I do need to like take a moment and say, wow, this was great. And I do when I see young people making posts and they tell the story about what a great experience. I feel good about that. And I feel encouraged that, it wasn't a waste of time, it wasn't a waste of effort, but it was something that's sustainable and we can continue to grow because this is what we need right now. Everyone needs that opportunity to help someone else. And the key is when I see other groups and other events that are happening at the Lions Festival, I know it's because of the work that we did. We were the foundation of that, right? We were sort of like that center point that gave folks the aha moment of, I can do that too. And they did, right? And they're doing it. And it's just making the space just so incredible, giving people opportunities that they never thought I'd have, business ideas that they never thought would even were inside of them are coming out. So that's the part I think I enjoy the most, or I say, okay, yeah, I may have had a little bit to do with that because people are showing up in ways that they were not before, from the first time that I showed up in 2017.
And with that being said, if you had to distill your journey into a blueprint, what would be your top three non-negotiables for creating lasting success, not just professionally, but with purpose and impact at the core?
Well, that's a deep question. Just believe in yourself. Believe that you belong and just have that inner thing that says, I'm willing to take the risk no matter what somebody says to me, no matter what no's come. One of the things that one of the panelists said on Inkwell stage this year is that said, when you hear no, look at no as just a request for more information. I never heard that before, right? So it's just like, don't take no for an answer. Just think, oh, I'm not hearing exact. Let me keep building. Let me just provide more information so I can get them to think and see the vision that I have right now. Let me keep building and growing. So keep going, take the risk. Don't take no for an answer. And then think beyond yourself, right? Think beyond how I can benefit and think about how can this benefit more people. And I think for me, that's been the success of it. And that's why what I always say, my faults have been turned to favor, because I don't think I've made it all about me. I've always made it about how we can help the next generation, how we can create a more inclusive environment that allows people to see bigger than themselves and be able to help each other.
Inclusion, absolutely. Now, as we're wrapping down this interview, I do want to ask you because you tend to take the stance of we're not asking for permission, right? And
Oh my
so,
God, yeah.
right. And so many initiatives do ask for permission, but yours declare we creating it. And like we pushing forward, we're continuing to move in spite of. No, it's just an opportunity to provide more information.
Yeah.
But in practical terms, if you will, how are you empowering others to build their own spaces rather than co-opt yours?
Oh, that was good. That was like, oh, in the side, because that experience has happened.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
do come through and they try to co-opt what they do as opposed to being an additive to what we do. And I think too, what makes it difficult is Inkwell was created as a platform for all of us, right?
Mhm.
For all of us to build and help grow versus come in and compete with. I definitely understand sometimes the values, missions are different, and you want to set up your own thing 100%. But it's just like if there's an opportunity to give to the quote unquote mothership, then do, because you understand that this space creates opportunity. This space begets opportunity to the next space that begets opportunity to the next. So why not, contribute into the kitty? Because again, right now we're all volunteers. Everybody's just here for the mission, for the cause, for that thing, just to make sure that you have a safe space to come into. If you're hungry, you can come in and have a delicious lunch, right? From Chef James, aka Big Country. But why not? We can convert that space into anything that anybody, your vision can come up with. But you have to contribute to the kitty to make that happen, right? I've had a few folks, assume that it's free. And I'm like, no, it's not free. Somebody has to pay for it. Everything that you see has to be paid for. That's why we have sponsors and we have people that contribute to pay for the space, to pay for the bill, to pay for the food, to pay for the volunteers to come, to be able to help and be a resource for anybody that comes into Inkwell. So, I love it when people come in and they see a vision for something that they want to build and do, and they should. I encourage that 100%. But we do understand that in this space, when it comes to funds, sometimes it's very limiting for
Yeah.
us. There's a pie that's being split. So we have to be very creative in terms about how we choose to fundraise and who we go after. So hopefully we're not tapping into the same bucket of funds, and we are, if we are saying, hey, I got this, let me contribute to one, how can we be supportive of each other so that we all can grow bigger and have all of our needs met? I hope that answered the question a little bit.
It absolutely. And at the end of the day, you're creating those spaces where those conversations are happening anyway. Just like you said, the one young guy came in and he had a vision, but from actually attending based on your encouragement, he's like, it's so much bigger. Like I completely changed my life. And so I think simply having a platform there for people to convene, for people to meet, for people to conduct business, I think that is, your contribution. And so one of them. Yeah. Okay. And lastly, you've been in DEI since the 90s, late 90s, right? What keeps you?
1900s, yeah.
I was supposed to laugh that loud. Nonetheless, you've been in the DEI space since the 90s. What
Yeah.
keeps you hopeful and fighting, and what keeps you awake at night as this movement evolves?
It's necessary, right? The human connection, that's who we are. If we're helping to elevate that next group, that next generation, we will always want to level up and just create access and opportunities for the next group. I don't have children, so I believe in succession planning, right? I believe in helping the next generation. I believe in creating a legacy and helping other people to see how they can build their legacy. I think when you're connecting and making that human connection, and for me, DEI is a human connection business. That's what keeps me going. Like as long as I'm human, as long as I'm on this earth, then I think that's the fulfilling part. That's the sustaining life source for all of us and what we're giving to that next person. I want to be a good steward of this gift of life that I have been given, right? So for me, this is my opportunity to be a good steward by supporting that next generation of folks.
I love it. How do we follow your journey, stay up to date with all of the things that you're doing? When are we going back to Davos in Switzerland? Like, when are we doing all the things?
January, we're on the side of the mountain at the Schatzalp Hotel. We convert their what they call Snow Beach to Inkwell Beach every year. This will be our third year going back. It's a beautiful space. You were there. So that's in January. King Day. We're always on the mountaintop on King Day. So that's January. Check that off on your calendar. We'll be on the vineyard again. Fingers crossed. This year, we put it down into a simple house just to have house conversations, just to have receptions at the house to reconnect and talk about what opportunities there are for us. And there's a lot happening on the vineyard at the same time as well. So just another way to convene and be in community. And of course, Cannes Lions is next year, June 22nd through the 3rd, 4th. It's, I think, through the 26th. So mark your calendar, put it on your calendar right now, because we're going to be back in Cannes again then.
All the things, social media wise, like how do we follow your journey there as well?
So check out Inkwell Beach Cannes on Instagram, and also Cannes, Cannes Diversity Collective, or you can follow me at Adrianne Insta on Instagram as well, and follow me on LinkedIn, Adrianne C. on LinkedIn as well.
We love it. Adrianne C. Smith is a global superstar and she continues to pour into our communities, and we definitely thank you for it. Thank you for reminding us all that inclusion is not optional. It's the engine of innovation, and the future starts now. Take care, Miss Adrianne C. Smith. We'll see you on the vineyard. What are the dates? Drop those dates because we need to know.
It is the first week, and I'm so bad. So the first full week
You know.
of in August. Yes, the first and second full week of August.
Okay, well, we might be doing a pop-up. I'm just saying.
It'll pop up, and then follow us on social as we develop, because we are Martha's Vineyard is always a quick turn for us because we land from Cannes, try to get some sleep, and just start building. July doesn't even exist for us because it's like June and August. So
And then August, for real.
So be patient with us as we try to pull together. If anybody wants to support and be a part of it, let us know. Call me, DM me. We would love to have your support for that as well.
Love it. We love you and all the things you do. Thank you for being you and giving your gifts to the world. We're going to stay tuned for the next one, y'all. Stay tuned.